the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Mitch Moss, along with Pauly Howard. We have Championship Sunday coming up this weekend with the AFC and the NFC title games. It's never too early to take a peek at next season, though, in the NFL. And you know, Pauly, across the country, sports books are opening up numbers now sooner than ever before. So win totals will be out before you know it. Title odds are already up. I'm sure you're going to have MVP numbers for next year, probably in the next couple of weeks. And looking over like how some of these teams finished this year and schedules for next season, some teams that I'm very intrigued by with what the win total could actually look like. Team number one for me would be, what will books do with Philadelphia? And I've mentioned this a couple times over recent weeks. But when you look at their numbers from week 12 on, and I'll use EPA, expected points added, in a lot of different categories here. They were somewhere between 29th and dead last in the entire league for that long of a stretch of football in almost every key defensive category. We're talking about yards per game, EPA per play, passing EPA per play, rushing EPA per play. It doesn't matter. You can go down. The list is endless here with how many categories I'm looking at with Philadelphia, and they were awful. Their 2024 opponents at home, the teams combined for a record of 70-83 this year. That's a winning percentage of .458. They'll get the Falcons, the Panthers, Browns, Steelers, Packers, and Jags at home along with their division. And on the road, they had a combined record of 72-64, .529 winning percentage. Along with their divisional road games, they'll play at Baltimore, at Cincy, at the Saints, at the Buccaneers, and at the Rams. I tweeted this out over the weekend. I said, what do you make it? 9.5 with a question mark. Thomas Gable, who runs a sportsbook at Borgata in Atlantic City, now this is his neck of the woods, right? They take all Eagles money. He said, I don't think you can open it that low because we'll get no under money whatsoever.
Yes.
At 9.5.
I'd say 10.5. I believe they were 9.5 when they won the Super Bowl, and then 10.5, whatever it was last year. Right, but then, so Sirianni got exposed, but now you're going to come in and you're going to change the coordinators. So you have that. You also have a ton of talent, a good GM, and a good roster. So you were 10-1, even though how bad it was, and address the Brown issues and the issues inside the locker room. So you still, Washington's going to be bad. Giants are going to be bad. I think you got to go 10.5.
Okay, that's probably, I guess, the more correct number. You could put a 10 on it, but for all of these teams, we'll just go with the hook because I don't think books like writing refunds. So it's like graded a winner or a loser, and let's move on here.
There's so much stuff that went on that had nothing to do on the field. It was all off the field stuff.
Yeah.
Then you saw these reports that Hurts was ticked off at Johnson, and he was running, and he was audibling and wasn't running what was sent in all the time, too, and Johnson just dialing up all these screen passes, what he was doing. So there was a lot going on there about chemistry and lack thereof. But I think I think they'll bounce back, and Sirianni, they're going to make the changes and get rid of Patricia, which they've done, and Johnson, and go different route with the coordinators.
Okay, I will agree with you. You probably have the right number more so than I do. What is your most intriguing team for next year?
Well, to me, it's the Chargers, because you go 5-12, but you're coming off the playoff season when you were up 4 scores in a playoff game. So if you're talking about a Harbaugh or a Belichick, how big of an upgrade is it at the coaching staff and with the coaching position? That's number one. Now, you have some cap issues, but if you have a stud quarterback and you just went to the playoffs and then you fall all the way off to 5-12, and when the team quit on the coach and everything went wrong, but then you're also in a tough division. I mean, you could also say the Raiders are intriguing. What if the Raiders get a quarterback? They have a ton of weapons on offense, and now they love Pierce and how well they played down the stretch. So that's, to me, in terms of intrigue, what the number's going to be, and do the Chargers bounce back, and do they get back to the playoffs?
Yeah, well, coming up in about 10 minutes, I will give you the name of a quarterback that Davante Adams recently endorsed. Now, he's a free agent. We don't know what's going to happen with him. But if he were to land out here in Las Vegas, okay, now we're talking. I am intrigued by the Packers. Again, when you look at Week 12 on, and I believe this includes the playoff games as well, they were top 3 in several offensive categories. And if they weren't top 3, they were either 4th, 5th, they were 7th in one, 8th in another. But I mean, they just were elite on offense for the final couple of months of the year. Again, to remind people that on Thanksgiving, they went to Detroit. They were up, 3 scores in that game. Absolutely destroyed Dallas. Game was over with at halftime in the playoffs. And last week, blew the game against San Francisco 10 different times. Along with their divisional opponents, at home, they'll get the Cardinals, the 49ers, Texans, Colts, Saints, and Dolphins. On the road, they play at the Rams, Seahawks, Jags, Titans, and Eagles. I went back and forth because this division, in theory, will be a lot better next year. It depends on what happens at quarterback with the Vikings, what happens with the Bears in the draft. You would think the Bears are going to be better than they were this year, and they were not bad to finish the season, and the Lions are playing to go to the Super Bowl. So I tweeted out 10.5. Is that too many? I think all things considered here, that might be too high. I think you might have to go 9.5 with Green Bay.
Yeah, yep.
You also have to recognize that their books will take nothing but public money to the over on Green Bay.
That is true. But that is a great division, especially if all these quarterbacks come back. Or Chicago decides to go in a different direction. They in the hall, they have all the picks. I have Jacksonville number 2. They were the sexy team this year.
Yep.
They were 8-3. They missed the playoffs. They finished 9-8. They also have a ton of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You're in a good division. Do the Colts fall off now? Or do they have a good coach in Steichen and now you just develop Richardson and you have another good season? Certainly that was a great coaching job. The fact that they were in a win-and-in situation in Week 18 with all the injuries they had. Also, Houston's scary, though. What if you gave me Stroud with all his weapons all year? Brown, Dell, Collins, Schultz. How scary is that team? So they win the division and win a playoff game. And then we'll see what Tennessee does. So this one's tough as well. Is it 8.5? Is 9.5 too high? It's a good division now. It was a joke of a division we thought coming into this year with 2 cupcake wins, and we thought Tennessee would be the second best team, but they were only going to win 7 games.
Right.
Everything's changed in that division. That one's tough. And it's also, what's the real team? Is it the team that was 8-3 or the team that couldn't win a game and blew the playoff spot and imploded down the stretch? I don't know.
I've also gone back and forth with the Texans and their win total, what it's going to be. Part of me says 8.5.
I got to go higher because of how good he is, and he's going to have all these healthy guys now.
Are you concerned at all about a year 2 drop-off, which we've seen so many times from, I would say, Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud, although this is going to be, Love's been in the league this was not his rookie year per se. But I think if you make Texans 9.5, don't you get a bunch of under money with sharps? I would also look at it and say what you just did. The division is, not exactly lighting the world on fire here, although good stories, good years out of the Colts and 2 of those other teams as well. The Titans, who the hell knows what direction they're going to go in. I don't know what.
Would you make them the favorites to win the division?
Jacksonville?
No.
Oh, Houston? Yeah, probably.
Okay, as would I.
Are you ready to say that D'Amico Ryans is a better head coach than Doug Peterson?
Yeah, well, it's close.
Yeah,
he did a great job. I know Doug's had a lot of success and won a Super Bowl.
I don't know if I want to go that far yet, but...
Well, it's a great job to how bad they were.
I will say this. There's a pretty good chance Stroud's better than Lawrence.
Now, that's true.
That you can say.
Yeah.
I have no... I could ballpark it here, but what do you make of the Browns going into next year?
9.5.
But I'm saying, where are you going to be at with the team? I would say 9.5 is probably correct. Very good division.
Great defense, good roster, and Watson was playing well before he got hurt.
Yeah, so the whole thing's going to be about Watson, but I'm also very intrigued on what kind of Watson. I'm leaving out hope for Watson as the football player.
I'm surprised they cleaned house with the coaching staff.
I know it.
Van Pelt was let go. They cleaned. The offense was great once they put Flacco in there.
Sure. And will the offense look, and don't forget they lost Nick Chubb immediately this year, one of the best running backs in football.
Yes.
Will those players who really took off once Flacco turned into the quarterback that he was down the stretch, will that continue next year with Watson as a starting quarterback? We need to see David Njoku take off as one of the best tight ends in football.
I think you have the right church, wrong pew. How about the defense? Why were you number one at home and worst in the league on the road?
I was getting there, yeah.
I mean, that's okay.
But also don't forget about how much manpower they lost, it seemed like, on a weekly basis. Man down, another starter, out for the Browns. It feels like they had as many games lost as I can go back and look at that. Games lost starters on the year, but it was every week. Look at this. They're down to their 13th combination offensive line this year.
What a division. That's another one. My Chargers of the NFC is Atlanta, though, too. It's same thing, right? Talented roster. How big of a coaching upgrade is it going to be? What if it's Belichick? What if it's Ben Johnson? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going from Staley to maybe Harbaugh. You're going from Art Smith to maybe the greatest of all time. So
that's possible.
To me, it's got to be night and day. And then who knows what that difference makes for wins and what it means to the respect in the locker room and actually drawing up a game plan and knowing what you're doing and not using Robinson as a decoy.
If they land Belichick and a quarterback, I mean, they're going to move to the front runners to win that division easily.
Yes.
Captain Obvious saying hello this morning.
Yes.
That will happen. And I have a candidate for you, a quarterback for the Falcons that I'll get to coming up in about 3 or 4 minutes as well. I wonder what you're going to think about this idea. We have there are some pretty good quarterbacks who are going to be free agents in the offseason. And I don't think we would have said this like 3 months ago. Or now it's like, okay, if he doesn't go back to his team, he goes somewhere else, which is a possibility. Now I'm kind of buying into it. We'll expand on that. I brought up the Raiders quarterback, Devontae Adams endorsed. I'll tell you who that is. And also, how did this story with Brock Purdy get lost in the cracks somehow? I have no idea. That's coming up next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Put the VSiN experts to work for you and start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Sign up on a VSiN Pro annual sub and get your first year for only $199. Use the promo code FTM. Get access to everything on our brand new VSiN.com website, plus our daily best bets with a leaderboard to see which VSiN expert has the hot hand, betting splits to show you where the money and bets are moving for every game, betting systems, premium analysis, and 24/7 video access, plus our upcoming Super Bowl betting guide with best bets and favorite prop bets. Remember, the promo code is FTM. Get your first year of VSiN Pro access for only $199. Sign up today at vsin.com/subscribe. We are on very early here in the mornings. Not very often do we get a live sporting event, and at the Australian Open right now, Sinner and Rublev are going at it in an absolute doozy. Sinner won the first set 6-4. They are knotted up at 4 apiece in the second set. Advantage Rublev, and they've been in, back to deuce now. What does that say, for the 4th time? So we'll keep you updated on that one. The winner here gets Joker in the semifinals of the Australian Open. How about this story? Now, it did kind of get lost in the cracks, slip through the cracks here. Got my cliches mixed up. Hey, cliches. ESPN had the story last week.
Speechless. I am speechless.
Nobody talked about it.
No. How does you have there's so much garbage out there with the hot takes and just forcing stuff. And when you watch some of the networks, the stuff they come up with in terms of topics and what they discuss and talk about. This is from Brock Purdy himself.
Yeah.
That Shanahan came to him and said, "You're our guy, but we are going to take a run at Tom Brady. And if we can get Brady, we're going with Brady." And this is from Purdy and telling the story last week, and no one picks up on it. It's the timing also, because I asked you yesterday, what happens if Purdy doesn't play well and they lose Sunday? Then what happens next year? Who's the quarterback? Now, number one, I can't believe they would do this, because what are you going to get, Brady, for 1 year, right? I mean, at this point, Tom's just a mercenary and a hired gun. He would go to San Francisco, play a year, try to win a Super Bowl again, and then call it quits. When you just went to the NFC title game.
Right. The guy got hurt.
Right. But not only he got hurt, you lost, but he got hurt after the game. You wouldn't shut up all summer about we were going to do whatever we wanted and we would have won the game, no problem.
That's exactly part of it.
And they were right.
The whole equation here.
Yeah, and they were right, because you saw what happened when they went to Philly this past year. But you were going to move.
Yeah,
I can't believe they were going to do this. And then it's also factors into what happens moving forward because he was so bad Saturday night. And then what if he doesn't play well against Detroit? Then what do they do moving forward where it's, okay, well, he's our quarterback for what, a year? Or the future? Or long term? Who knows? Yep. But this is, I can't believe you went to the NFC title game, figured to win if he didn't get hurt, and then you wanted to say, well, let's try to get Tom Brady.
Well, also, don't forget here, you can't have this get lost in the timeline. Purdy was hurt for he had surgery.
Yes, okay.
And they had no idea when the bounce back was going to actually take place and how ready he was going to be for the regular season. So again, yeah, this is early on last offseason. After everything Pauly just said, Purdy sat down with Nick Wagner, ESPN.com. Wagner wrote, early in the offseason, Niners coach Kyle Shanahan sat down with Purdy and assured him that if he was healthy, he would be the starter unless Brady wanted to play one more season for his hometown Niners. Purdy said, quote, that meant so much to me. I remember him saying, if we can get Tom Brady, we're going to try and get him. And I was like, yeah, he's the GOAT. I get it. This was in the story, and Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio picked up on it and said, like, wait, what? This was not a huge story? How?
Yes.
How was it? Anyway, so that is wild.
Should that be his attitude, though? Aren't you a competitor and say, no, you shouldn't do that?
Well, he's also, I mean, how many times has he heard Mr. Irrelevant, first-year pick?
But he had a good year.
Oh, no, I know. He was really good last year.
He went to the NFC title game.
What would you say to Tom Brady if they brought him in and you were the quarterback? No, you're okay. Brock Purdy. What are you going to say?
I'd say, I'm going to beat your ass.
You watch Purdy your entire life growing up.
That's his idol? Yeah, okay.
You know, I mean, he's 20, whatever he is, early 20s. Brady won 6 Super Bowls.
I'm a competitive. 7? Okay. It can be like once we're on the same team. Okay, pay him respect. Great to meet you. Whatever. But I'm gonna yell at Shanahan if he sits me down in a meeting and tells me that. I'm gonna push back. Say that's a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. Purdy has that in him.
Oh, okay, very good. That's a problem. Don't you think?
Well, if they got Brady, but they didn't get him, so.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I would have said to Shanahan in that meeting, that's a bad move. I'm outraged.
Yeah.
I went to the NFC title game. We're building something here. I'm a young guy. I think I proved enough that I should be your starting quarterback, and you're not just going to put Tom in for a year or two.
So what is your plan if he stinks it up on Sunday and they lose the game?
Well, good point. Because also, remember, this is not the first time this organization has done this. They did the same thing to Garoppolo.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to get Cousins. They tried to get Brady before. They tried to dance with Rodgers. They tried to get that deal done as well. Now, give me his numbers. Is it bad like Saturday where he's all over the place?
Yeah, he has.
And they lose the game?
He has the same game against Green Bay and they lose the game. He doesn't put that drive together at the end when they needed it to win it. I'm not going to say he's as bad as he was against the Ravens on Christmas night, because if he is, then we're probably really going to have something to talk about then. He's on a rookie contract. That's massive.
At the very least, I bring someone in to push him.
Yeah, because Darnold's a free agent too.
Yeah, and challenge him for the job.
Okay, well, here's a list of free agents. Who would it be? Kirk Cousins, number 1 on everybody's betting board. The Vikings don't bring him back. Kirk Cousins is the quarterback Devontae Adams endorsed this week for the Raiders to go out and get, or that he likes him, like he would be a really good fit. He had to be careful with what he said, doesn't want to go down the tampering path, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Paul Charchian on every Thursday. I know he tweets about this, that the Vikings fans are split on what to do.
Sure.
Because they've given him all this money and he only has one playoff win. But he's still a good quarterback and puts up good numbers. But then again, I guess I could say the same thing about Mullins and when he was in there too.
What would Cousins to Las Vegas do for you?
That's a great move. That's a game changer.
They'll put up numbers.
Yeah, how bad their quarterback play was and has been.
Yes. They have good weapons.
Yes. He's better than Carr.
Now, what about Cousins to the 49ers if they could somehow... the contract there is going to be the major hiccup.
Yeah, I know. But that's also be scary offensively with the play action and what they could do. Getting him on the move and how dangerous he is. You see what it looks like in Minnesota? Now it's like, okay, I have to respect the run with McCaffrey. And now, okay, Kittle's wide open. Yeah. Yep. Other
quarterbacks who are free agents. Dobbs is a free agent. Tannehill. Then you get down to Jameis Winston. No? Okay. No. What if... Now, the way that Baker Mayfield closed the season, he's a free agent. I mean, if Tampa doesn't re-sign him and he goes somewhere else, what if his landing spot would be in the same division he goes to Atlanta? He goes to Atlanta. Bill Belichick becomes the head coach. What does that do for you? I think that's pretty good. I think Baker Mayfield opened up a lot of eyes here down the stretch this year. He played well. You can't deny it.
Yeah. I can't move on from him if I'm Tampa, though.
No, I think you have to sign him.
Right, yes.
But I'm saying if they don't, then all of a sudden, if you would lose him inside your own division, I think Atlanta would. I think they'd be foolish not to go after him.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're getting down to Minshew, Huntley.
I'd take Tannehill over these other guys.
Oh, you would?
I know it's hard, but this is I can't get there with Winston. I thought the whole thing was so weird on the final play of the season for them.
It turned into straight weirdness.
That is, right?
Because it turned into such a major talking point and they won't let it go.
You're the backup quarterback. You're coming in garbage time. Yeah. What do you mean you're going to overrule the coach to get Jamal Williams a touchdown? That's nonsense. And then last time we saw him too, he was throwing 30 interceptions in a season. Gardner Minshew had a great year, but I think that was a credit to Steichen though. Huntley put up good numbers, but he's still a backup. Darnold, no way. Bridgewater at the end of the line, can't do it. Tyrod Taylor, serviceable, but do you want him to be your starting quarterback? I mean, it's just Tannehill has been a 1 seed on the strength of a good rushing game, though, and won some playoff games. I'm not saying he's great, far from but he's better than these other guys that you're throwing at me. But Cousins to anybody is a game changer.
Yeah, I'll say this about like 3 of the guys you just brought up. Minshew, Huntley, Taylor, like there's a spot in this league for all 3 of those quarterbacks, but I think it's being a serviceable backup. And every team needs a good backup, as we've learned now, because these quarterbacks get hurt and they drop like flies the way it seems every single year. This year was maybe more so than ever before. Like get Minshew to go in there for 1 or 2 games, he can fill that role. Full season starting quarterback, not with Shane Steichen, I'm not so sure.
Right.
I think Taylor and Huntley are really good. But I think that I'm also concerned if they leave, like if Huntley would leave Baltimore and become a starting quarterback, like what does that look like? I'm not so sure. But there's nothing wrong with being a really good backup quarterback if the guy goes down. You can fill the gaps.
Yeah, right. You never know.
You don't.
Geno Smith was a bust, and look what happened in Seattle 2 years ago. Yeah. He's become something now and got rewarded with a big contract.
Right. With so many question marks every single year. And trust me, like, there are so many spots in the NFL that are like, yeah, if we could upgrade a quarterback, we're going to do this. Kirk Cousins would, I don't know about put somebody over the hump, but it would all of a sudden look a lot different than what it did with that guy. We'll get into tonight's Hoops card up next. Cashing this over is going to be a challenge, but you can't ignore the numbers here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
With Omaha Steaks, you'll fall in love at first bite with their tender steaks, juicy burgers, air-chilled chicken, and more. You're going to love every bite. It's Omaha Steaks guarantee. And when you go to omahasteaks.com/VSiN, you get 4 free air-chilled boneless chicken breast and 4 free rich, juicy boneless pork chops with your order. We love it. It's incredible. omahasteaks.com/VSiN. Go get it now.
How about last night in the NBA? Embiid dropped 70. Karl Anthony Towns had 62. Neither team covered. T-Wolves lost outright. They were 14-point favorites at home to Charlotte, and they were outscored 36-18 in the fourth quarter. Tonight, you get the Lakers and Clippers. Clippers are 8.5-point favorites in this game. Total is 229.5.
Yep, no LeBron. Tough. It's your TNT game, and LeBron's sitting it out. So the Lakers still sitting around 500. Horrible loss at home against the Nets. Oh, was that bad Friday night? I mean, the Nets have been horrible this month.
Sputtering big time.
And the Lakers lost that game just when you thought when they were turning it around and got the big win against OKC in Dallas. So figures to be a loss tonight. No LeBron. Clippers 8.5. Clippers are hot. Clippers played with their food Sunday. Came back, somehow won and covered. down what was it? 10 down 11. Down 10.
Down 10.
Down 10 with 5 minutes. Don't give up a point the rest of the game. So don't look now. They're like $4 to win the division after they were 6-1 a couple months ago.
Okay, so which team would you be concerned about catching them in the Pacific? Would it be the Suns and nobody else? The Suns are currently 3 games back. They've won 6 straight. They came back from way down last night to come back and win against Chicago.
That's a tough call. Suns are good, but the Suns have zero depth. They cannot have one injury. We already saw it. Beal went out and missed all that time, and they were...
Here's one.
Yeah.
They played the Pacers on Sunday night, to your point.
Uh-huh.
They scored 117 points. I'll call it, quote, their big 3. Durant, Booker, and Beal had 91 of the 117.
Oh, boy. That's not sustainable.
That's not taking you very far.
Same thing last year, right? Same thing last year.
Yep.
You got those all-time performances from Booker and Durant early in the series and still lost in 6 to Denver.
Yeah.
You would have lost to the Clippers last year if Kawhi didn't get hurt. So Sacramento's good, but they still have, they lost at home to Charlotte. They've had some bad losses too, but Sacramento's good, but I don't think they can. Clippers, I agree with Doc. If not the best, most talent in the league, second most. So they should be able not only to win this division, but be a top 3 seed in the West. Mm-hmm. Don't you agree?
Well, yes, absolutely.
The way Kawhi's playing?
Probably top 3 seed.
This is perfect for Harden. 3rd, 4th banana.
Yeah, at this stage of his career. Yep.
Just
get
set
the others
guys
involved.
Up. Be a facilitator. Just get guys involved. Just put Kawhi and George in good situations.
Knicks taking money on the overnight. They were 3.5. They're 4.5 today against the Nets.
Love them.
Yeah, I like the Knicks tonight as well.
We're on the pregame tonight for DraftKings on TNT. And by the way, bet $5, get the $200 in bonus bets as well. This is a mini Malinsky special. The Nets had a small road trip, but it was long in terms of travel.
How many days? Or West Coast?
It was 6, 7. You were at Portland. You were in LA for back-to-back and that hiccup on Sunday. Now you come all the way back cross country and you get ready for the Knicks. But it's not a home game. They're at home, but it's not a home game. It'll be all Knicks fans. You ever been a Net fan? So it'll be all the Knicks fans making the short drive. They're hot. The Knicks are 9-2 in January. They think they're contenders since they made the OG trade. And who's in a worse spot than the Nets? You can't tank. You don't have your picks.
Yep.
So they're probably, are they going to move guys at the deadline? I don't know, but they're just, and it also goes back to you get Durant, you get Kyrie, it blows up, and they also are stuck because of the 2, not 1, but 2 Harden trades they made. Number 1, to acquire him, and Houston has all your picks, and then when you traded him, you got, let's be honest, Ben Simmons should be in jail for extortion, what's happened there. So it's the double whammy, where what you gave up to get Harden, but then you had to get off him because he wanted out, and then your big prize.
They basically bought high and sold low.
There you go.
The exact opposite of what you need to do.
There you go. So you're stuck with Ben Simmons in this bad roster.
It's like you get reverse middled on a basketball game.
Yeah, you went all in to get Durant and Kyrie. That blows up, and then you try to get Harden. You get Harden. But now so they're stuck. They're stuck, and I don't know what they're going to do. But
the closer we get to the deadline, the more stories are coming out. Anyway, headlines like the Nets are going to be sellers.
They have to be.
They have to be.
They got to get some of these picks back.
Right.
So like you want to tank, can't tank. Someone else has your picks. Mm-hmm. But the Knicks are playing good ball here, and they did have that one hiccup where they lost in Dallas and they didn't have Luka, but it was on the road. So more Knicks fans in the building. The Nets' first game home after a long road trip, it was a week, but not in terms of games. But they've been playing bad basketball. I want the Knicks.
Yeah, Nuggets are laying 5 in Indy. Total is 241. Nuggets can get, when they play some of these high-scoring teams, they can control the game. And rather than getting into an absolute shootout, I'm not going to be surprised if the number is close tonight and they win like a 4 or 5 point game, but if this number it's like 112 to 107, would not surprise me. Mm-hmm. That's who they are and how they operate and how they play. And Joker, meanwhile, will probably have 27, 13, and 10.
And here you go again, and no one's talking about them. Minnesota's the 1 seed. Here comes OKC.
Yep.
What a great story. Yeah. The Clippers are playing great ball. Issues going on with the Lakers and the drama. Why are they sitting around 500 the whole year? Now here comes the champs. Boston, right? All the moves they made. They finally lose a game at home. Denver goes. We talked about the prop Friday. Last of the day. DraftKings put it up. Would they go 41-0 at home? And then Denver beats them that night.
It's funny. We actually said on the air that day, take a shot 40-1. Why not? Keep in mind they might lose tonight. And they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and
still, we're here. We're the champs.
I mean, honestly, who are you not going to like them against in a 7-game series? I'll bet them against Boston. I don't think they're losing a 7-game series against Boston. I don't think they're losing to the Bucks. I think Nuggets...
Clippers could give them problems.
Clippers could.
But that's...
I think OKC could. They've done a great job against them in the regular season. I think Sixers Nuggets would be an incredible NBA Finals. That's must-watch television. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, you're exactly right. Hey, guys, I know you can talk about all these other teams, but we're still pretty good.
Yeah, I still want the Nuggets here, though, tonight, too, because it's going to... Yes, you want to say, oh, they made a great trade, and now watch on the futures and all. It's still going to take time. You see that.
It'll take a little bit.
And so you get Siakam, but they lost to Portland right out of the gates. So when you make a big trade like this, guys have to get used. Look how bad the Clippers were after the Harden trade.
Yeah.
They lost 6 in a row. They were terrible.
Oh, yeah, that's
right. I mocked them. Everyone laughed at Harden, goes, well, when we figure it out, it's going to be scary. Everyone laughed at him. Well, look what happened now. So it'll take time with the Pacers. The question is, for tonight and moving forward, how long is it going to take before everyone's on the same page? Because they were playing great basketball. Then they make the trade. Now they're kind of a bit of a funk.
Yep. Little college basketball action tonight. Kentucky plays at South Carolina. That game over the weekend against Georgia.
Your team. Let's go.
Welcome to college basketball, Big Z. I've been watching Kentucky play college basketball since the mid-'80s when my brother was a huge fan. I can't recall. I'm sure it's been like this. I can't recall Rupp Arena being like that during that stretch when Big Z checked into the game. The play, 24,000 people. The whole place is absolutely on fire. So it's another big kid playing in his first game, and he couldn't miss from outside as well, and he's blocking shots.
Yeah, but your concerns, though.
Defensively.
Defense and the coach.
Yeah, they allow...
don't we know how this is going to end in March?
Well, no? I don't know. I haven't seen this offense with Kentucky before ever in my life.
Okay, but let me go back to what I just said.
With Calipari.
Okay, do they have enough defense? And the head coach is lousy. They're going to get in a tight game in March, and this guy can't drop a play up to save his life.
To answer your question, I need to see it to believe it with the defense. So I'm not there with them yet.
All right, you want the over?
Well, it's 155.
Lenardi has South Carolina in right there on the bubble.
They're 15-3.
So, yep.
However, their non-con schedule was 264th in the country. South Carolina, very good defensively, and they slow it down, by the way. They're number 347 in pace. I want to make the case for the over in this game because it's Kentucky. They're 14-3 over. They're going over on average by 14.2 points per game. They are elite almost everywhere offensively. Doesn't matter what you're looking at. Threes, they're outstanding. They're top 10 in the country shooting percentage-wise. Close twos, they're top 30. Twos that are a little bit further out, they're top 30 in that. Teams shoot 33% from downtown against South Carolina. But that pace overall, who dictates tonight? Is it going to be Kentucky? Because they love to get up and down. They love to get it into like a game in the 80s, no problem. Or is it South Carolina who just completely wants to play defense and slow it down to a complete crawl? I would look at South Carolina first half in this game, and I think I have to bet the over 155 where it's at Circa right now. I have to. I got to do it one more time.
How many points did they give up against Georgia in the second half?
60 plus. They were up by almost 30 in the second half. They won by 9, couldn't cover the game. Now, they took it easy offensively. They could have scored 130 in that game if they wanted to.
Wow.
But they totally slowed it down and stopped carrying on offense, and then the defense just couldn't get a stop whatsoever. It's a really good night in college basketball. Where are we at with the state of Michigan hoops? They're catching 17.5 against Purdue tonight. I know Purdue is awesome.
Yikes.
But 17.5-point dogs in Big Ten play?
Where have you gone, John Beeline?
Yeah, right?
That's nuts.
Yeah. Back to the NFL coming up next. A couple of player props to examine for this week on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. Bet $5 on any game, get $200 instantly in bonus bets, and a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Download the app now. Use code VSiN. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, code VSiN. The crown is yours.
Sinner was down in the second set, came back, rallied, and he took it 7-6 from Rublev. So now he's up 2-0, and they are in the third set now. Men's draw, Australian Open. Winner here gets Djokovic in the semifinals, where they will be a pretty big dog, I'm guessing. Our producer, Luke, loves tennis. He was saying, like $3 range, maybe $3.50 or so. 3 to 4, something in that range. Player props here coming up in a second. Now, we were very concerned in that Niners-Packers game about both teams on special teams, right? And it kind of played out that way. Both teams were
I know
not
Green
great.
Bay was bad. I was concerned about San Francisco. Issues about Moody, but the kick coverage and what happened, and that was San Francisco's. They were terrible special teams in that game.
Sure. So overall, when you break down the numbers, will it be a factor again against the Lions? In the regular season, the 49ers were 25th overall in DVOA special teams. They were 19th in field goal / extra points, 30th in kickoffs, 19th in kickoff returns, 29th in punt returns. That's not great.
No.
They have, I'll say, by far the worst special teams of the 4 teams remaining. The Ravens are 3rd overall. I mean, they're right there every single year. The Chiefs are good on special teams. They're 6th overall. The Lions are 20th. So it's not like they're great, but they are better, and they have been better than the 49ers.
Well, I know I can trust both kickers in the AFC.
Oh, yes.
I mean, Money Badger has been bouncing around. You know, it's a weird alias he has, nickname. I mean, the guy jumps, he gave it to himself, right? Isn't it like Andre Rison with Spider-Man here? I'm Money Badger.
It's always an issue when somebody gives himself a nickname.
I'll guess it, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Well, anything but. You jump around there because you keep missing kicks. But then I can't go to war with Moody. I mean, no way. Now, I'm not going to put the block on him, but he's missed several extra points and kicks as well. So the other thing is, if you have a big leg, kick it through the end zone. With their poor coverage, and you saw what happened, is that Green Bay almost housed one. I don't want to put the pressure on these guys because I don't have faith and trust in them. So just take it easy on everybody. Let's just trust the defense and kick it through the end zone.
Yep, totally agree there.
It could definitely decide a game in the NFC game. So that's cause for concern if you're San Francisco. But that's another thing why Shanahan was so bad. Why are you going conservative in the elements and trying a 50-yard field goal?
Right.
Like it's a gimme. You don't have Tucker.
No.
You don't have Butker. So this could be key on Sunday.
Okay, so who you want to look at for the 49ers for a wide receiver to go off? Because, again, when you go back and look for most of the season, and we'll take it back to Week 10 when they play the Chargers in that game, Keenan Allen could not be stopped. He had 11 catches for $175 and 2 touchdowns. And every leading receiver against this Detroit defense has been effective one way or another, going all the way back to then. Either they've scored a touchdown. Look at that. The only leading receiver not to score going back to Week 10. I don't think anybody did anything against Detroit in Week 15, to be honest.
The other one, too. We're not talking about Elway and Montana here either.
Sure.
Look at the quarterbacks. I mean, it's Nick Mullins, it's Carr, it's Fields. I mean, this is bad.
It's not a great list.
Baker Mayfield.
Olave had 5 for 119, but he was also the only receiver on this list not to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Everybody else listed has scored a touchdown, at least one. Keenan scored 2. And then it's really not got, I mean, the way they closed up shop, and I get it, we're talking about Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb and Puko's awesome and Mike Evans, but all those guys had huge games.
Well, you asked me, and I think the bettors have the right idea here. Number one, they're trying to get in ahead of it.
Yeah.
If Samuel doesn't play by betting Ayuk over, but Ayuk's going to be the guy anyways. You know, I think Kittle's in store for a big game too. If you just look at what Otten was able to do Sunday, but even if Debo plays, how close is he to 100%? And then do they kind of dial it down and say, well, we're going to use more of the rushing attack, throw to Kittle, throw to Ayuk anyways, because we need you for the Super Bowl? Maybe they also have a 14-point lead and they take it easy too and don't get him involved. I don't know. Because if he gets hurt again, that's it, and you don't have him in the Super Bowl. So that's how will Lynch and Shanahan look at it from that standpoint.
Yeah, I actually...
Because he's had the injury before, and we don't even know, as we sit here today, if he's even going to play. And he's 50-50, they said.
I'll say this. I like Ayuk even more if Debo plays in the game.
Okay, there you go.
Because that way they can't concentrate on slowing down one guy. Debo's going to only open it up. Maybe both guys could have big games then. Why would that be a surprise?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be.
And it's not fair. Just you see the quick stuff that they do, like they did right off the bat in the Green Bay game. I mean, you can't stop that stuff, and he's got 15 yards per reception.
Yeah. Now, we ranked quarterbacks last week. We each had Brock Purdy ahead of Jared Goff. Mistake? Who's a better quarterback in this game?
Yes.
Goff?
Yep.
So he made a mistake by ranking Purdy ahead of him.
I know, but I know he should have been. You can't say that he didn't belong in the MVP discussion.
No, of course
that's
he did.
ridiculous.
He did.
Yes, he did. He put up ridiculous numbers.
Yes, right.
Now he's had some bad games.
Mm-hmm.
And it was horrible for the whole world to see what happened on Monday night. And then he was shaky. He was bad Saturday. But I'm going to say a lot of it had to do with the elements. Guy can't play in rain.
No, he can't. It's a small sample size, but he's got the small hands, and he can't make up his mind if he wants to wear the glove or not wear the glove.
Uh-huh.
So
and Goff has been steady for 2 years now. The guy's put up big numbers. And love, a lot of the credit goes to Ben Johnson, too. So I'm concerned about the San Francisco defense, but I also know Purdy's going to be able to move the ball and have a big day. And he's going to put up big numbers.
I will also say that there's a chance Dan Campbell outcoaches Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe I'm saying that, but, I mean, shame on me, because this Saturday night was not the first example that we've seen Kyle Shanahan completely botch the end of a half. And we got a good email on this, and we're talking to John Lund coming up in about 40 minutes.
He is the last guy that should be conservative because of how good his offensive line and skill position players are. Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is an email from AJ in Pennsylvania. Our email is ftm@vsin.com. He emailed yesterday. So I listen to the radio broadcast of the 49ers every week, and the announcers always mention, that Shanahan wants to be the last to possess the ball before the half. Mm-hmm. Shanahan has numbers on the team to possess the ball last in the first half and win the game like 65% of the time. Doesn't remember the exact number, right around there, but Kyle wants to be with the ball last possession before halftime every single game, pretty much no matter what.
Okay, but again, it's what Bill Barnwell said. You can't be so worried about the other team kicking 3 that you cost yourself 7.
That's exactly right.
You are completely taking away a touchdown with how conservative you go there. You're at midfield with 90 seconds and 3 timeouts. What are you doing?
Yep.
And then you can't even get 3. And it comes back to almost bite you. But this is where it could benefit the Lions and Campbell. You have nothing to lose. No one expected you to be here. Now you won you exercised the demons. You won 2 playoff games. That hadn't happened since the 50s.
Yeah.
Now you're a 7-point dog on the road. Of course you can go for it nonstop, 4th down and be aggressive.
He's going to...
yeah, absolutely. Now you can try the fake punt and this stuff.
Dan Campbell is going to be who he has been his entire time in Detroit on steroids. I mean, he's going to... You hated it when I did that fake punt against Green Bay on Thanksgiving? Watch this.
Yep.
Like, that's who he can be in this game.
You got one guy who will run a fake punt from his own 15. You're going to have a guy who will punt 4th and 1 from midfield. With McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, and that offensive line.
Oh, rest assured.
He did it in an NFC title game.
Like, what can you see as the most extreme example of Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down? Not fake punt. I can see 4th and 3 and I'm talking like when the game's not out of control. Forget about that for a second. Like early in the game, I can see him going 4th and 3 from his own 40-yard line.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if it's high scoring early on.
And he might not even hesitate.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I can see 4th and 1 from his own 20.
Early on, no fake punt.
25. No.
Sends the offense, keeps the offense on the field, goes for it.
Push, whatever. Yeah.
Nothing will surprise me with him in this game. And again, if everything goes his way in this game, they can easily win it then. And if Shanahan does something like that before halftime, it's like, all right, man, you made a mistake like this plenty of times before. The big game opportunities for Shanahan. He was too aggressive in Atlanta, like you said yesterday.
I will rain on the parade, though, too, with all these props and these overs. If Purdy is erratic early and they're gashing him with McCaffrey, we've also seen Shanahan's history with that, too. He's done it. We did it with Garoppolo. I'm just going to run the ball every play then. Or it's just going to be short stuff and screens, which I can't believe we didn't see more of it against Green Bay. He should. I thought he made a mistake, though, too. But Shanahan will just dial up run after run after run.
What if they can't get McCaffrey going against Detroit's defense?
Then they got a problem.
It's pretty good. I mean, I think last week, the way White looked was maybe an aberration.
That I don't know. That's no one had run for 70 yards though. He didn't have 70 yards, but also
he was going to.
I know it was horrible by Canales.
Yeah, we'll hit tonight's NBA card with Jonathan Von Tobel coming up next. VSiN senior NBA betting analyst, and what does he make about Embiid now with the MVP?
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.